Hi Data Fam. Today's topic is all about year to date, quarter to date, month to date, fiscal versus Gregorian. A Gregorian calendar with January as the first month of the year, and a fiscal calendar is a special calendar based on your business requirements, where the starting month of the year could be any month, typically not January. So, this example on the screen is my attempt at explaining these topics in depth, the nuances of building it in Tableau, and how to go about it. What you see here is the current month to date choice. We have current quarter to date, year to date, previous month to date, previous year to date, and previous quarter to date options as parameters. Currently, the user is choosing current year month to date. And the type of calendar here is Gregorian, which is starting in January. I'm in the year of 2024, and it's the month of December, the 4th, highlighting them in blue. Quarter 1 is January, February, March. Quarter 2 is April, May, June. Quarter 3 is July, August, September. And quarter 4, the current quarter, is October, November, and December. Since today's date is the 4th of December, only these four values being on the 4th of December are returning as a true value for my choice of current year month to date. If I were to choose current year quarter to date, starting from October, which is the current quarter, the 1st of October being the first day of that quarter, all the way till today's date, which is 4th of December, would evaluate as true and hence marked in blue. Everything that's a false does not meet the criteria of being in the current quarter to date and hence grayed out. Let's look at current year to date. Starting from January 1st all the way till today's date is marked in blue for the current year. For the sake of understanding, let's switch gears and look at previous month to date. Previous year month to date have to look at 2023, and the month to date correlates to the current month but in the previous year. So we just show these values. If I were to now choose previous year quarter to date, I can see year of 2023, all the days in the current quarter, which is the fourth quarter of 2023, going all the way up until December 4th, evaluating as true. The days 5th all the way to 31st are not showing as true. If I were to use previous year, year to date, all my dates in the year of 2023, starting from January, would evaluate as true up until the current date in previous year. To recap, previous year quarter to date, starting from the first day of the current quarter in previous year. Previous year month to date, starting from the first day of the current month in previous year up until today. And then current year, year to date, all values in the current year, today being December 4th, starting from the first day of the year. Current year quarter to date, starting from the first day of the current year quarter all the way till today. And current year month to date, the first day of the month in the current year till today's date. When I choose the type of calendar to be fiscal, and let's say the first month of the year in our fiscal calendar is August. August, September, October is in the first quarter. November, December, we haven't reached January, so it's not showing up here, falls in the quarter 2. Now, the point that I want to make here is August 2024 falls in quarter 1 of fiscal year 2025, because as soon as you hit August this year, you are starting your new fiscal year. If we were to start in November, the month of November would fall in Q1. 2024 November would be the fiscal year of 2025. Now that we understand, let's go back and choose August for the sake of our example. Fiscal starting in August, and I'm choosing current year month to date. Very similar, starts from the month of December 1st up until current date of 4th of December. If I were to choose current year quarter to date, my current quarter starts in the month of November, goes up until today's date. If I were to choose current year to date, first day of the quarter would be 1st of August because the quarter is starting in August and will go all the way up until current date, and that would evaluate as true because I've chosen current year to date. Switching gears, if we look at previous year month to date, December of 2023, the first 4 days evaluate to true. December 2023 falls in the fiscal of 2024. If I were to choose previous year quarter to date, November all the way till December 2023, and previous year to date starting in August for the fiscal year of 2024 would light up to be true all the way from August 1st till current date previous year. Now that we have validated that all the calculations are working correctly, if you do want to understand, let's dig deeper. There is another option that I want to quickly talk about, but this is not the right way of approaching the solution. I've created a copy of my order date. The only difference here, and this is not the right approach, that's the caveat. I've gone to the default properties of that newly created column. Fiscal start year, I've marked it to be August. You can see that August 2024 is falling in fiscal year of 2025, and it's in the Q1, August, September, October, November, December, much similar to how we had it here in our previous example where August is in Q1, Q4. But if I were to choose a current year quarter to date, it gets all mixed up. The starting of this quarter should be November because October is truly not the first month of the current quarter in a fiscal that starts in August, but it's the last month of Q1. I had to show this to call out explicitly that shifting the dates by right-clicking and choosing the first month will not work. Let's go back to the solution that works. Let's dig deeper. There are a slew of calculated fields that I have used. The date max, where I'm calling out and calculating the maximum date. Then I have the max date of previous year based on a calculation. Then I have the current year month to date, quarter to date, and year to date formulas, calculated fields written, previous year month to date, quarter to date, and year to date to correspond with these 6 choices in the parameter. The first thing, edit my data source, add a data source filter. I'm saying use all values with a condition that my order date has to be less than or equal to today. Today function returns current date. Date max formula is a fixed of max date, and it returns the last or the highest date in my data set. Similarly, I'm calculating the highest date of previous year. I'm saying use date max, subtract 1 year from it, and return the value. I have created a date fiscal to correspond with the choices of my parameter. My parameter, first month of the fiscal, let's take a look at that. I've given the users a choice. Does my fiscal start in January, February, March, April, May, all the way till December? And for each of those, I have a value of 0, 11, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4. Each of these values are an integer type value. I'm using those integer values and adding it to my order date in the data set to shift this up. In a new sheet, right click and drag month year of order date. Right click and drag month year of date fiscal. Based on my type of calendar, either fiscal or Gregorian, this would return either the fiscal date or the order date. Right click, month year, date. First column is my order date, the one which came with the data set. The second column is the fiscal date, which is shifted up based on the first month I'm choosing. And my last column is returning the date based on whether the user is choosing a fiscal or a Gregorian. Currently, if I choose Gregorian, you will see the date field, the last column, returns me the value that's there in the order date column of the dataset. When I choose fiscal, it returns the value corresponding to the fiscal field, which is a calculated field. If I were to choose February as the first month of the fiscal, then interestingly, February 2021 would get shifted up to become the January of 2022, essentially moving up a year to become fiscal of 2022. If I were to choose August, as we saw in our previous example, the month of August in 2021 would correspond to the fiscal year of 2022. Let's look at the current year month to date formula. I have the date max returning the current year maximum date, and I'm saying let my newly created date field, which is the last column here, that date field, let that be greater than or equal to date trunc month. What date trunc does, it returns the first day of the current month. Current year quarter to date. Here, we do not have to explicitly define the higher bound where date is less than equal to max date, because in our data set, we have already filtered all values above the date of today. Defining the lower bound, which is the date trunc of quarter, returns first day of the quarter to be our lower bound, and we want to return all the dates above the first day of quarter as true. Current year year to date, similarly, date greater than equal to date trunc year of max date. Date trunc returns the first day of the current year, and we want to see all dates above the first date to be returned as true. Interestingly, if I now look at previous year year to date formula, here I have to define the upper bound explicitly, and that's where the formula date max previous year comes in, because we have days above previous year's max date. Unless we define the explicit higher limit, it would continue to return true. So this higher bound had to be defined where date should be less than equal to the max date of previous year. And the lower bound is date greater than equal to whatever we evaluated for our max date month to date. This part, we are subtracting another year's worth of data using this date add year minus one. Previous year quarter to date, similar idea. The upper bound had to be defined to be the max date of previous year. This part is constant across the three previous year formulas of month to date, quarter to date, and year to date. Date trunc quarter returns the first day of this quarter, and then we subtract 1 year's worth from it using date add. Similarly, previous year month to date, the higher bound is constant. What all changes here is date trunc of current month, the highest month, and then subtract another year's worth of data. So date trunc month minus 1 year gives us previous year month to date. Previous year quarter to date, date trunc quarter minus one year's worth of data. previous year, year to date, date trunk, year, minus 1 year's worth of data. Now that we understand current year, month to date, quarter to date, year to date, and previous year, month to date, quarter to date, year to date, let's look at the date range selected based on this parameter which we see here, the 6 values. Case, parameter, when current year, return the current year month to date, quarter to date, year to date, previous year month to date, previous year quarter to date, previous year year to date. Now drag this, shows us color, true is blue, false is grayed out, and with that we have now built out the fundamental concept into our solution. If we do want to see a real world scenario where instead of these date values we want to see the sales values, using sales, multiply it with the int of this Boolean value that we calculated, date range selected, give it a name, chosen sales, click OK, bring this into the, and there you have the final value based on the choices made. If I were to drag this true and false and just take true, it would return the specific values based on the choices made. If I were to choose year to date, it would break it down, month to date, break it down, clean it up. None of these pills need to exist. We can create a ban out of it, and we know behind the scenes the numbers are correct. With that, I hope that this explanation in show and tell has been helpful. Thanks.